and who will be sharing with us. So don't miss on that. But before that, just let me go on to the announcement and share with you some announcements before I invite our guest speaker for today. Okay, so we have our team call on every Monday night at 10 p.m. and this is 30 minutes of social proof where you get to dial in together with your members, yourself, your friends, where they get to see what the business is really all about and what the travel is really all about as well. So you can get more resources on our website at www.onebigteaminternational.com, where you get videos, you get information, things that you can print out, lots of other resources that you need. Now, if you are new and you've not been added into our closed group, Facebook group, do get your sponsor or your leader to add you into our Facebook group. Also, do subscribe to One Big Team TV YouTube channel, where you will be updated with all the latest videos with regards to the business and the platform. So also remember to download your Dream Trips app. It is available in iOS as well as Android. So that's where you will get to browse all the Dream Trips, get in touch with Travel Club members, and also to book your flights, your hotels, and other stuff. And if you are new and you've not booked your Welcome Dream Trip, please do so, because the Welcome Dream Trips are already highly discounted. And if you book within the first 90 days, you get a further discount, which is an even more attractive rate. So you will definitely want to go for your Welcome Dream Trip. Don't miss on that. Start browsing, start shopping for your trip, and quickly book one within your first 90 days of your sign up. Now, all our calls and our webinars are recorded and they are archived into onebigteaminternational.com website. So in case you missed today's call or any of the previous calls, you can actually go and listen to the recorded version that's in the website. So before I introduce our guest speaker for today, again, I want to encourage you, if you've got teammates who have not dialed in yet, please drop them a text right now and remind them, okay? And I'd like to introduce our amazing speaker for tonight, okay, Miss Deanna Yusoff. Now, Deanna is an accomplished international actress for 25 years. Now, although currently she is based in Malaysia, Deanna has a multicultural background, having been brought up and educated in Switzerland. Now, while in pursuit of financial freedom, Deanna enjoys educating and inspiring people through sharing her lifestyle choices and personal experiences. All right, so without further ado, okay, just let me right now welcome our guest speaker for today, Miss Deanna. Hi, Deanna.
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Great.
Well, once again, I just want to say a big thank you for agreeing to take this call. And
it's my pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for having me on the call.
Yeah, so for the rest of you listening there, when I first got in touch with Deanna to see if she could do the call with us, I was most humbled by her willingness, to say yes. And even in that short conversation that I have with her, she shared so much, about life, the business that she's in, and I'm just really excited to get her to share with all of you today. But before I start, I just have to say this, that I just only discovered like 2 days ago that Deanna, both you and I share the same birthday, 3rd of January.
No way! Wow. Well, happy belated birthday.
Yep, to you and to me.
That's fantastic.
Yes, and I was just so surprised, and I thought, wow, that makes today's call for me even so much more special to be able to be together with you.
But okay. I'm a lot older than you.
You still look great. Fantastic as always. Now, there's so much that I'd like to ask you, so let's get started. And I think it's only appropriate, for you to share with all of us today how you got started, in the WorldVentures business.
Okay, I started about nearly 4 years ago. In May, it'll be 4 years. God, it's been a long time. Yeah, it was through Byron, who I believe is on the call. Byron introduced and shared this with me, and I jumped on board, and yeah, it's been, I'm very grateful to him for bringing me and showing me, this, and it's been a very interesting journey, very interesting 3.5 years.
Okay, so maybe you want to share with us, how did he actually approach you, or did you know him very long before that?
Well, Byron and I met on at a training, T-Harveka training. And, I don't know if you're familiar with the courses there, but at one point in time, you have to get up and you have to go and meet 10 people and exchange cards, or, get their contact. It's networking. And I met him then, and we kept in touch. And I think we sort of messaged each other a couple of times and met a couple of times. And then one day he says, "Hey, can you get on Skype? I'd like to share something with you." And I was like, I'm coming to Singapore. Why don't we just meet up and have lunch? And he was like, great. So we met up, and we hadn't seen each other for a while, so there was a lot of catching up. And then he finally asked and said, do you like to travel? And I'm like, yes. And he says, do you travel enough? And I'm like, no, not enough. He said, let me show you something. And I'm like, okay, sure. So I watched the video, and I was intrigued, and also straight away I knew what kind of business it was. But because he was sharing it with me, there was a trust thing. And also the video, it was a Matt Morris video. So I don't know if any of you have, all of you have watched the Matt Morris video, but that's what we had when we first started. And it was, I was like, sure. And he said, look, tonight we've got a presentation at Majestic. Yeah. And he said, can you come? And I'm sure. So I went there and I, met everybody, and I thought like, wow, this is great. And he's like, okay, are we going to sign you up? And I'm like, yes. But I did not have my cards on me, my credit cards, because I've got two wallets. I've got one for Malaysia and one for Singapore. And all my cards are in Malaysia. I mean, this is real, okay? And and he was like, of course, he was a little bit disappointed. I'm like, I have to go back to KL and all that. And then when I got back to KL, I said, he asked me, he said, are you, can we sign you up? And I'm like, Byron, if I start this, I want to start and do it well. And right now I'm working on something and I need to finish it. So give me a few weeks. So during that time, what was great with him is that he kept in touch, and he kept feeding me information about WorldVentures. Hey, we've got a training here, a regional training, just a 1-day training. He said, do you want to come? And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, I love training, and if I can learn one thing, I wouldn't mind going. So I went, to the training, and 2 or 3 hours after it started, he was, yes, do you have Wi-Fi here? And he's like, yes. And I was like, can you sign me up like right now? And it was in the middle. It was even before lunch, because it was, what's his name? What's his name? Not a trainer. I know I told you. Eric Allen.
Eric Allen, yeah.
And what I liked about it is that I'm getting certified to become a life coach. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm taking a long time to get it done, but I'm learning a lot about, about those tools. And what I liked when I saw Eric Allen is that he was using the same method as everything I was learning. I was like, I want to do this. This is a company that uses the same values, the same mindset. And this is why it really pushed me. I was interested, but this really gave me that push. And I said, okay, I'm in. So, yeah.
Wow, how interesting. And I like the part that, you see, for all of us listening there, for someone, obviously Byron knows that, Deanna, you're famous, you're an actress, but he uses the same exact invitation method. He asks you out for coffee.
I don't think he knew who I was.
Oh, really?
Right, Byron?
Okay, so in this instance, ignorance is bliss. Yeah. Okay, but the point is, he did not tell you exactly what it was until he invited you out for coffee and he could show you everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he did use the the method. So and it worked. It worked.
Excellent. Now, you probably get this question all the time, and I believe, many tuning in today are dying to know too. So with all that you have accomplished as a successful, famous artist, why network marketing? What did you see in this industry that got you all in, to go all in?
Interesting. I mean, yeah, it's, to be honest, I was never attracted to anything that was MLM or network marketing. People have approached me to try and, sell things. And the first thing I didn't like was that they weren't walking their talk. They weren't, if they tried to sell me like slimming pills, they were overweight, or if they were selling me some skincare, their skin wasn't good. And I just didn't like the whole pushy thing. So when I first joined, WorldVentures, I was a little bit sort of, I had certain fears. Let's put it that way. I had certain fears, and being in industry, I was thinking, I have to be careful with my image. What are people going to think? Yada, 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 all these things. And I realized that they were my own fears.
Yes.
And I realized that the only way to overcome that was to get to know, like if network marketing or MLM is your enemy, try and get your enemy, get to know them better. And then, it's always easier. Yeah. And so that's what I did. I went and started reading about network marketing. I read a few books. I started, reading online, and the more I read, the more I realized that, wow, network marketing is it's really the future. I mean, there's so many companies now, even Singapore Airlines is using that method. And, more and more companies are realizing that this is the way to go. And the more I got into it, the more I found out about it, the more I researched it, I realized this was right for me. Because I come from a background where, my job is I work, I get paid. I work, I get paid. I go on holiday, I don't get paid. We don't get leave, pay, or, and if I'm unwell, I don't get paid. And I'm like, how long am I going to do this for? So, but I didn't want to start a traditional type of business. I did a few years ago, and it was like a lot of money, a lot of wasted time. Well, I wouldn't say wasted time, because you always learn from it. But I just went like, I can't do that. I just don't feel comfortable. So network marketing really just made sense. And I think I have got, there are a lot of, what would I say? I've built a following. I've built, like a network all these years. And now it's, I think everybody, when they reach a certain stage of their career, not just in industry that I am from, but everybody else, you create a network. And I think it's interesting how you can bridge the two and sort of monetize it, or, add value to people's lives by doing that. So I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's so admirable to hear you share how, like, even though you have your preconceived ideas about not having very positive feel about network marketing, but because you gave it a chance, you
Yes.
decided to find out more about it, to read out more about it. And I thought that was, that's why, because of that open mind that you've got, that you found something that, you could possibly like fall in love with.
I think also it's also the company. Like I say, I've been approached by other people, but I think WorldVentures just has a very different approach. It has can I say more gentle approach? And we're talking about holidays here. And we're not trying to sell, where we need to know a lot of stuff to be able to get people to understand what our product is. We don't. It's really a video. You press play, and maybe there'll be a few questions to answer. It is, I think, anybody who's never done network marketing, this would be the first platform that everybody should come on board, because I find all the other platforms way too complicated, too difficult to do. At least for me, because I'm not a salesperson, and I feel very uncomfortable trying to get somebody to buy something. So I think that's why also I was very lucky that my first experience was with, WorldVentures.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And I know, probably as you get on that journey, you discover, like you say, discover more about the industry and also the company. Can you share with us, is there, what is that one why that, kept you going in this business? What's that why?
I've got a lot of whys. I know I should, and I should have one why, and Byron be like, no, you have one why. There are a few things, and I think my why has also changed. Yeah, because it's, fine-tuning, and there are other needs, other things that are happening in my life. And I think my why, of course, is seeking for financial freedom. And I have reached a little bit of that, and just to share something, but in the last year and a half, I wasn't really able to do anything because I was dealing with some personal issues and family issues. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful that I built something in the previous years that allowed me to be able to take time off, take care of other things, and also be, financially stable, to
Mm-hmm.
be able to do that. And I realized that I was very grateful because not many people can do that and take off for a year and a half and go and sort something out.
Yep.
So, but what I want to do right now is, because I realize that in my industry, and with age and all that, they don't really want you anymore. Although, again, I'm very grateful that I'm still working. But something happened to me 10 years ago, which, destroyed my career. And that's when I realized, oh, I need something. I need to do something. I need to do something else with my life. And I know I'm going around and going away from the I am doing this, and my why is because I want to have a more secure financial, to be more financially free than what
Mm-hmm.
I was before. Because I got a little bit of a taste of how everything's taken away from you, and then
Mm-hmm.
how I have to take a long leave. And I'm glad that I have that, but I know that's not enough for me to continue my life. So that's one of the whys. It's really to be able to have that freedom, also to do other things.
Yeah.
That's one of my biggest whys. And what helped me get through all of that is actually a lot of personal development, a lot of training. I've attended nearly all the trainings since I joined WorldVentures, because, oh
Wow.
my God, I mean, the deal that you're getting compared to other trainings that you go through with, other coaches around the world is a
Yeah.
fraction in terms of cost. And you're hanging out with like-minded people, the same kind of mindset, you pick up a lot. And I think that what happened to me 10 years ago, I mean, personal development and attending seminars like this really helped me get out of it. Yeah.
Mhm. But having said that, I also believe that the journey wasn't an easy one, that as you got started in the business, you realize that you have to learn, unlearn, die to certain old ways, get into the system. So if you think of a moment where you hit rock bottom in this business, what was it within you that got you back up and kept you going?
I think a couple of things. I mean, personal training was something that was very important, because there's something that Matt Morris posted. He was talking about, if your team doesn't grow, look at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem lies within yourself and not with your team, your upline, your downline, or the company or the product. It's really within yourself. And I think that applies to everything you do in life. I think it's when something is not going well, we have a tendency, and I'm guilty of that, of easily pointing fingers at, oh, this, that production, or the director, or the scheduling, and everything is all. But at the end of the day, it's how we look at things, or how I look at things, my perspective, and how I can better myself to deal with a situation like that. So I think that really helped me get out of, get back on my feet.
Mm-hmm.
Hanging around with people who are positive, who are not there because they want to take advantage of you, but they really care about you. I think that makes a huge difference in life. Because, and again, it's for everything, not just WorldVentures. It's very important to surround yourself with the right people. And sadly, people like friends and family, they're not always helpful, they're not always encouraging, and I think you have to be very aware of that.
Yeah.
And I think your why, if you've got you know where you're going, even if you go on a different road for a while because you're doing some sightseeing, or it's good to know that, hey, I have to get back to this destination, and what is it that I need to do. So planning as well is very important, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. And you've worked really hard, the success that you have achieved as an acclaimed actress for the last 25 years, you have really disciplined yourself to perfect your craft. But sadly, many people these days, they just want that instant success. So at the sign of, a first sign of difficulty, they just quit. right? So if you could share with us, Deanna,
Yeah.
how these three things are crucial in building a sustainable business in WorldVentures, namely discipline, failure, and vision. So let's start with the discipline.
Um, yeah, I do agree with that. And I'm guilty of sometimes not following those things. But yes, discipline, I think, is I think one of the most important things. I mean, even in my line of work, if you want to get somewhere, there's certain things that you have to keep on doing. There's certain things you have to just, it's like getting into good habits, and always looking back and saying, okay, did I achieve, what I wanted to achieve? And if I haven't, where have I gone wrong? What have I not done enough? Or what am I doing too much of? So discipline is a really, to me, is a very important thing. But it's not just discipline with ourselves, but discipline also with the team members, how we are with them. And I've realized that in the last year and a half, because I wasn't involved very much in WorldVentures, that, because that discipline was mine, but I didn't sort of really share it, or we didn't have a common discipline, that, suddenly everybody goes and does their own thing. So yeah, definitely it's very, very important to have that, because if you don't have discipline, to me, is like a direction. It's planning, it's focus, it's all those together. That's what's part of discipline.
How about failure? How can failure be something that's, so crucial in keeping us going in this business?
You must fail. I failed many times. Look, when I first started in industry, I was modeling in Japan, and modeling is, I found, is one of the, it's a hard industry to be in, because it's not about your talent, it's not about your looks, it's not about how tall you are or how good your body is, it's really about, are you at the right place in the right time? But we don't realize that, because you're very young when you're modeling, and you get rejected a lot. People just look at you and go like, and you tell your name and they look at you and give you one look, and it's that head to toe look, and like, okay, done. And that's a huge blow to ego, to whatever, and especially when you're young. But that's part of failure, because we look at it as failure. Now, if I had not gone back over and over again for these auditions, I would not be where I am today. And I think coming back with failure in whatever you do, you learn from it. You learn not only to know who you are and what you want, but also you learn your mistakes. You see what you can do better. And making mistakes is actually, to me, it's actually quite, I know it's crazy to say that, but it's fun, because you really get to work on something. If you were succeeding, it would be really boring. If it was always yes, 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 and everything was fun and fine, it would be really boring. So failure really gets you back on your feet and keeps you on your toes, rather. And you just you have to find ways. So it's like you're playing, there's an obstacle in front of you and you're trying to dodge it. If you just had a freeway like that and you just went straight, it would be really boring. So I actually think failure is good, but when you're faced with it, sometimes it's hard, and it's good to take yourself out, and look at the bigger picture and say, okay, what am I trying to achieve? Is this just like a little challenge or a little barrier? And if it is, how do I go over it or get over it and move on? So I think failure, if somebody doesn't have failure in their life or in WorldVentures, I think it would be a really boring journey. And I think WorldVentures, what's great about it is that it's a long-term journey. It's not something that you're going to do in 6 months or in 1 year. I know some people, get to the top in a very short period of time, but this is something that I plan, for example, to do. I hope to be in it for a long time, and it's a journey. And I'm discovering and I'm learning about myself through this journey. I've made a lot of mistakes, so I can call it failure as well. But hey, you learn, you pick yourself up, and you move on.
So what are some of the mistakes in the context of like the WorldVentures business that you think you've done and you've learned from the experience?
I think we'll be on the call till tomorrow morning. I think one of the biggest things that I've learned is it's leadership. I've never, like I said, never done business like this. I've never had a team under me, and I think I tend to babysit my team a little bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, Deanna, how do you do this? Deanna, how do you do that? And because I know how to do all these things, and I know where to go and get the information, it's suddenly, you know, Deanna will do it. Deanna will do it. Deanna will do it. And I realized that, you know, it's Scott Ross who said something in one of, you know, he was at one of the, I don't know if it was boot camp or momentum. And I loved what he said, because I think he had a similar problem. And he just said, call this number or email this. You know, he stopped giving information, and he got them to you know, to look, you know, to do things on their own. So, and this is what I also learned in coaching, is better to empower people than do things for them. And I was told by somebody a few years ago, and I liked this. I don't know if I'm going to quote this person correctly, but it goes something like this. A mediocre teacher is somebody who tells you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
A good teacher is somebody who shows you what to do. And an excellent teacher is somebody who inspires you. So
Wow.
I think I was telling people what to do, or maybe showing. And what I'd like to do is to come to a point where I inspire people to go and do things. So there's a, you know, I know Mervyn likes to say this, you know, see monkey see, monkey do. You know, I love saying that. And it's true, you know, and because in the last year and a half, I haven't done much, you know, all the other monkeys are not doing very much. Sorry, I don't mean they're monkeys, but you know what I mean. It's like,
yeah, I get you.
It's just been, you know, because I didn't empower them. I didn't inspire them to take action and to do things on their own. So that is a big mistake, but I learned. And now I'm a bit more careful when, you know, I sign somebody else, somebody new. I'm not playing the, you know, the babysitter or the mummy anymore, you know.
Yeah. So we've got discipline, we've got failure. How about vision? How important is vision in building the WorldVentures business, having a vision?
I think it's one of the first things you need to do, is to know where you're going. And I'm sure, I mean, it doesn't come from me, but you know, if you don't know, if you're in a car and you don't know where you're going, it's, you know, you're never going to get there, right? Or you're never going to get to a destination. It's the same thing. But I think a lot of people tend to look at things way too far away. It's good to say, okay, you know, when I'm at this, you know, I've reached this age, I want these things. But I think you need to make smaller stops. And then you need to ask yourself, what do I need to do to get to this? And then every week, or some people do it every day, but, you know, every week or at least once a month, go back to that and see, have I achieved this? And if I have not, what do I need to do? Or what do I need to change? Or what has stopped me from doing this? Because if you let it get out of hand, then it's very hard to get back. It's like people who put on weight. Everybody will put on weight and fluctuate a little bit with their weight. But if you let it get out of hand for 5 kilos, it's very difficult to come back to your normal weight. But if you see it's gone up because you went on holiday, and then you know, then come back and you know, balance it out again. And I always, you know, I like to look at things that way. If I see that, you know, I'm not achieving anything, I'll go like, okay, sit down, stop, and block everything out, cancel your appointments, and why are things not happening with you? I think that's important. Vision is you need to know where you're going, and the thing is, not everybody has the same vision. Right. I know everybody will say, I want to be IMD, I want to be IMD. Yeah, of course, that would be great. But I think there are a lot of other stages in between that are as great, because it's part of, you know, it's one part of your life. And if you can find a balance in your life, WorldVentures is one chunk. I think, you know, that's great. So everybody has a different vision, has different, you know, has a different goal.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that, because it's true, especially for members who are new, who are tuning in, you know. At the end of the day, it's not just that one IMD vision, but it's that little things that you've achieved along the way that sometimes we fail to celebrate. And therefore, we don't enjoy the process, you know, and we just keep looking at just, you know, wanting to just get there, and we missed out smelling the flowers along the way. Okay, now you mentioned earlier about the importance of leadership, okay, and we know how strong leadership, you know, in the business is important. Can you share with us, you know, a few things that we can grow to become that leader that will inspire people to want to follow?
I've learned, like I say, I'm not, I'm not one of the, the big leaders in WorldVentures, but I'm just sharing what, I've experienced and I've learned. I think it's important to respect the person you're working with, respect their needs, respect what they want, and work with them, because, like they say, not everybody is an eagle, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to be doing something great within your team or within WorldVentures. Um, and I think it's also very important that it's not always about work. I think you need to connect with the people in your team on different levels, so that there's, bonding, there's understanding, and there's, because we like to say that WorldVentures is one big team and we're a big family, and work is not the only thing that makes a family work. It's there are a lot of other things, and it's nice to have a balance, that there's a human element to it, and not just business work, that only contact me when you want to work. I mean, it's nice to have a human touch, with people, especially, team leaders. I like to spend time with them without talking WorldVentures. It's like, let's have a meal, let's go out, let's not talk WorldVentures, because it just gives a different, bond, and people, you get to know that person as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's also an important thing. Also, I believe that it's, again, personal development, going to important to go to these trainings.
Mm-hmm.
I know sometimes you have to, and then I got to senior rep, and some people woke up in the team. They were like, "What? She got to senior rep?" I said, "Yeah, because I go for trainings." And they're like, "Damn it!" So, they all like started going for trainings, and it is really, really important for people to attend and go to trainings. I mean, I've attended trainings sometimes alone, where, but that's just the way it is, and but it's very important to encourage people to do that. What else is there about leadership? What else would I say? Yeah, and I think always be true, like me as a person, to be true to myself, and to be honest, and to maintain integrity, to maintain, the values. Because if somebody senses that you're not quite honest, that's never going to work. So I think, to me, these values as a leadership, they're very important. If you want, they might not agree with you, they might think that you're not aggressive enough, or you're not pushy enough, or whatever, but integrity is like a big thing, I think, and honesty.
Yeah. So what are the three things that you can share with members who are new, who just came on board, or members who are just on board for the first month? What are the three pieces of advice that you would give to them?
Wow. Well, if there's someone that is called, welcome on board. It's great. You're going to have a great, great time. I would say, really, really hang out with your leaders, get to know them, spend time with them, because they've got a different energy, unless you've done network marketing in the past. But I think it's really important to get to know them. They're all very friendly. You can go up to them, introduce yourself. Don't be pushy and say, "Oh, I need you to come and help me with a 2-on-1." That's not how it works. But, hang out with them, see how they think. I mean, just, I think it's very important. Go to the trainings, even if you haven't built, and I know some people say, "Oh, it's going to cost me more money and everything," but you're investing in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just investing in your business, you're investing in yourself. You are going to lead that training with one thing that is going to help you, minimum one thing. Normally you pick up on a few things, but that's going to help you in your business and also in your life. And if you are not well, and you're not well balanced in your life, you are not going to succeed in your business. I believe that is so, so true. So personal training is sort of, it's investing in a long-term thing. It's not
Mm-hmm.
something that you're going to do and say, "Oh, I go once and then I don't have to go for the rest of the year." So if you're new, go to the trainings, and believe me, the trainings at WorldVentures, they give you the same quality, but it costs you a fraction of what you would pay if you went to, the top life coaches around in the world. So it's really worth it. And yeah, I think, try it out. Don't make mistakes, go out. I mean, the first few times I had to show, share WorldVentures with people, the things that came out of my mouth were like, I left the place and go like, oh my God, Deanna, you're really dumb. You say these really silly things, but make those mistakes, go out there, laugh at yourself, because the more mistakes you make and the more you practice it, the better you're going to get. And so I suggest at the beginning, stay with the excitement of signing up, go out there, go to the trainings, hang out with the leaders, and just do it.
Yeah. Thanks. So in case all of you, those of you missed that, okay, hang out with your leaders, the first point. Second one is to go for trainings. Okay, Deanna mentioned that many times through this call, attend all the trainings. And the last part is don't be afraid to make mistakes. And if you do, it's not the end of the world. You just learn from it and then you just keep going from there, right? Okay, so the last question before we end tonight's call, Deanna, can you just share with us who has been that greatest inspiration for you in your WorldVentures journey?
Wow, I think there have been a few people. Really, most of the trainers. I mean, I love Matt Morris. I mean, I guess he was the first person I saw in the video, and he was just recently in KL, and I think he's great, and he's got such a light energy about him that's great. I also attended an RT with Wes Melcher, and I've read his book. I really like him as well. Scott Ross, and not forgetting our sort of local people. I mean, everybody who goes up always, like I remember Mike So went up. I attended an RT training. I'm pretty sure it was in KL, and I could only stay for his segment because I had to leave after that. And I was just blown away. I was just like, wow, it's amazing how these people just, they're able to just give something back, to us. So I think there are a lot of people, from our, I'm not going to name all of them because it'll take forever, but there are a lot of people who I find are really inspiring. There's not one person that and of course Mark Caseta, of course, he's an incredible guy with what he's done and what he's achieved. And the view is amazing. I think it's the view. If you guys don't know what it is, then people who've just joined, is an amazing training and must not miss it.
I don't know if you, I totally believe you when you first mentioned Matt Morris as one of the person that really inspired you, because after this call you must go back and watch the recorded version, because your face completely blushed and you're so happy when you mentioned Matt Morris. And it's totally
I'm just getting hot today.
Totally evident that you're completely smitten by Matt. Yeah, but Matt's really an amazing trainer, that's for sure. Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Deanna, for your time. 30 over minutes just flew by just like that. I wish I had more time with you, and I'm sure likewise for all the listeners out there. But thank you for sharing your heart. And I think today's call, it's one that is light, but at the same time, that's packed with so much personal the things that you share from your heart, and I think that's what matters, and I like the fact that, like you said, it's not, you keep saying that I'm not that amazing leader, but, you're such a giver at heart, and I can tell even through your sharing. So we really want to appreciate you and say a big thank you to you. We hope to invite you back to the call again sometime soon. See you on the stage when you're being recognized as well. And so before we say a big goodbye to you, you can hang it on, and then I'll just share the screen so that I can make some more announcements. All right? Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for having me on the call. That was, a great experience. And
Okay, thanks, Deanna. Sorry, I think I missed you there a little bit. But I'll just switch to the share screen right now for some more announcements. Okay. Okay, so there was Deanna there, and you've heard from her countless of time that she talked about the training. And the next one that you can all take advantage of is acceleration in March. Okay, that's 17 to 19 of March, and it's happening right here at Singapore Expo. Okay, so you don't want to miss that. The tickets are sold VIP at 249, general 199, and I believe, as I share now, the VIP tickets are all completely sold out. But don't miss out on the general tickets because they're still made available. So do log on to the event page and buy your general tickets now, because it's right here in Singapore. We're gonna have amazing Scott Ross is going to be here, and of course Mark Asada as well. So you want to hear from these two amazing guys, and it will be like what Deanna said, like I said again and again, you know, you don't want to miss the training. You know, when you're there, you know, people rank up, you know, people get inspired, people see breakthrough, even in their business and even in their personal lives as well. So quickly buy your tickets and be there. Lock in the date for acceleration, 17 to 19 of March. Now, next week, we also have our usual team call on the 13th of February on Monday. And we have this amazing lady. Okay, the person who's going to do the call is Elaine, and Elaine is going to be hosting National Marketing Director Melanie Levitz. Melanie is an NMD from Florida, and she has an amazing team in the US. She's a 100K annual earner and is a WorldVentures international trainer. Now, she's an ex-US Air Force for the last 12 years. Yes, that's correct. She's in the ex-US Air Force, and she replaced her Air Force income with WorldVentures in just 1.5 years. Now, early retirement came to her early, 8 years earlier, and right now she serves the country in reserves. So she's a very dynamic lady. Do tune in next week at 10 p.m. for the call so that you can hear more about her story and how she grows the business. We also have our Mandarin team call on the 12th of February, Sunday. That's also at 10 p.m. And we have none other than our Regional Marketing Director, Karen Wong. So Karen's going to be sharing on the Mandarin team call. Karen is our the top copier salesperson. She saw WorldVenture when she was 35 weeks pregnant. All of us know that. And she hit senior rep during her confinement month, hit director in her 3rd month of the maternity leave, and she's now a full-time mommy. So what's going to be interesting about this call is she's going to share a topic, and that's about closing techniques. So any one of you out there who really wants to know how to not just do the usual presentation, the invitation, but you want to really know how to close, okay, you don't want to miss this team call. So dial in next Sunday, and Karen will be sharing all this great stuff with you. Okay, so that's all I have for today, and thank you for tuning in. Once again, thank you so much to Deanna, okay, who has generously shared with us about her story, and I hope that you will, you guys will dial in again next week to both the English and the Mandarin team call. Okay, so have a great week ahead. Okay, go out there, invite, share with your friends, share with your family, and have an amazing week ahead. All right, so God bless you, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.